Questo progetto si chiama Per una ingegneria del racconto, Educare. È un progetto promosso e cofinanziato dal CEPELL, il Centro per la promozione del libro e della lettura, ed è curato da Scuola di Robotica. L'idea generale, in 20 lezioni più 10 dedicate a Scratch, è che la promozione della lettura e del libro avviene non soltanto leggendo libri, ma leggendo il mondo. E leggere il mondo si può fare in tanti modi, con tanti formati, e in particolare leggendo il nostro prossimo, leggendo l'altro. Ecco perché siamo super entusiasti di ospitare la nostra ospite di oggi. Prego.
Yes, it's an honor for us that we have Jamila Hassoune. And like Fiorella has highlighted, Education to Read want to push the love for reading, love for writing, but in a broader sense. In fact, we read the world with books, of course, but also with the science, technology, sport, music, and literature, of course, deals with the universal themes like love, friendship, travel, adventure, truth, fiction, and each macro theme trespasses the literary sphere to reappear in video games, in scientific paradigms, and so on. This project has got another aim, which is very important, in my opinion, in our opinion, of course. And it wants to reach out the outskirts of cities where school dropout is a problem, is still a problem. And we became aware of your project, Jamila, and we immediately saw a lot of similarities and common intentions. So we want to ask you, the bookseller of Marrakesh, to tell us your story and your project, your choices, and which books you choose to give to the villages where you go, and how you are received by them.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm very happy to talk to you and to see there is other project like my project when I was fighting many years ago, but I love this project. It's like a baby for me. So the bookseller of Marrakesh, you know, it's the name of this book, and you can find it in Italy. It's only in Italian. I started to run a family bookstore in 1993, the end of 1993. So it's my father was a bookseller in another bookstore in the city, but I told myself that being near the university will be a great chance to have all these students, to have those young people to come into the bookstore. But when we start, it was really like for me like a fiction. How people didn't come to the bookstore. All people in 1993, if you want, to 1994, when we started, they came to the university from villages and from the desert, because there is only in Marrakesh, I am talking about Marrakesh because I am based in Marrakesh, they don't have no libraries, no bookstores, no cultural spaces there. So when they came, they are like lost. Of course, they are in the university, but also in the university, the library of the university, there is not enough books for them to read. So I started to create like a space for debate. It was really a small bookstore. And I invite some authors, some journalists to talk, and then invite them to come. I understood that what is important is the debates, how they can listen, what happened, and it start like this. But still something for me, because I couldn't travel in the rural before. I couldn't know what happened there, because for me, la richesse, if you want, the things we have at our house, it was books. I couldn't go to the movies. I couldn't travel with my family, couldn't travel, but we have those books. This for me, like everybody has books. It was like logical, but it was not like this. So when I told myself, well, I have to do something. Those people, they are coming from the desert, from high class. I have to go to see them. So I have to bring them books because they couldn't come. So my adventure starts with a small car, family cars, and bring books to the court of the schools. I started in the schools for primary school, high school, and middle school, and they could exhibit books. And they come and they could see, they were interested in the book about literature, human rights, and the developments, personal developments. And they were very interested also for books when they can see colors, you know, illustrated books, because they never see those. And illustrated books with children, they could see those photos. And for me, it was, this is what we have to do something with these children, because, and for me, to bring books there, it was not only because books and exhibiting books. This is why when I started the project called Book Caravan, it's like cultural space. I go to the villages with books, but it's not only with the books. We went with people, a writer, journalists, people who could discuss with young people. And it was like workshop, writing workshop, but also reading workshop, because for me, what is really important, that people could listen what is inside in these books, and to give them also the possibility many times to these young people to read. For example, we give them like a chapter, if you can read for us. Because, you know, the tradition in Morocco now, it changed with some elite, but we grow, and still now that the young people, they don't have any chance to express themselves, because they are children, because they are young people. So shut up, don't. So for me, it is not only reading books for pleasure, to give them the opportunity to express themselves, and to give them the opportunity to see people coming from the city or coming from the other country, because they don't have any chance to travel. And they give them also the opportunity, because we traveled in many cities, and all was focused in history also, about any, for example, a city, if you can, for example, Firenze or Florence, it's about what is the story, what is the history. So we talk before going to the book caravan. We talk to the teachers to tell them, please, can some student or some children write about the history? We want them to tell us about the history of their city, of their village, because I want them to be proud of their values. It was the idea when I saw also the immigration, that people that are immigrating, they don't know, they didn't feel they are citizens. Because if you are living in a rural and you don't have anything, school, of course, some rooms, they don't have books, you don't have movies, you couldn't go to cinema, you couldn't go to, you don't have anything. It's sure you want to go somewhere to see what happened. And for me, the idea, I wanted them to be proud of their civilization, for their history, and also to understand what happened, what is the culture there, what is the political there, everything in 3 days or 4 days. We went to schools working, we are a group, but also sometimes we went to small association of women. Most of the time are women, because women, they collaborate with us. So sometimes in a village, we have like a feast for 3 days, that those children, those young people, they are telling their mothers what happened, the mothers. So we are there, and we are eating together, we are doing workshop. That for me, this is the book is like tangible. It's for to improve their self, to have a critical spirit, to be tolerant. Because my experience when I was child, when I was a young, I couldn't, for example, I could only go to school, but I didn't have any chance to be outside, to travel, to have any cultural activities, because I was from a conservative family. So I was a girl, but books opened for me a big space. I could dream, and this is important for books. If you could dream, you could open for you challenge, and you could be tolerant. You could understand what happened in the area, in your area, but also in the other area. So for me, very important writing workshop, but the workshop most important is reading. So if you have to do something, we have to start to read to these people. Of course, we have oral tradition, but now it's finished also with there is no grandmother who are telling stories. But for me, when I started to be a bookseller, I wanted to, I told myself, of course, oral tradition. Now we have to go to writing tradition. People have to write. This is why now I am focusing on writing workshop with young people, but also we are reading before and after they can write a story, and to tell them that is very important. There is the problem in our society, but also in many other society, they are not reading because, I don't know, I can say it in French, that le livre n'est pas branché. You know, we are branché because you are in, it's the fashion, if you want. And we have to find something, if you want, we can do it together, that the book is something like fashion, it's branché. I am developed, I am high because I am reading, because I am dealing with books, because I am dealing with the writing and reading. And there is many experience in the world. I read the book Michel Petit, L'Art de Lire. She's talking about this books I used many years ago, about all these experiences in Latino America, like in Argentina and Colombia, that people from children from streets, that they don't have any family, and they could catch them. There's a lot of problem by reading, and many young people, they find themselves in the stories. You have to choose the stories. There is really very biography sometimes is good, but also all literature, human being, how to give them the possibility to catch their attention, and to also to tell them, you have also to read for us, please. We have to choose one child or one young people to read, to give them, because sometimes they are ashamed, they couldn't do anything. So this is, if you want, I resumed my experience that it was really the book caravan for me is to democratize the knowledge, to give the opportunity, because we have the same problem. The children drop out for school. They are in school, but because there is and most of them, they are girls, because the high school or middle school are very far from their cities. Of course, normally we are doing, there is many policies now to change that, but still the infrastructure of people who are in high atlas villages, how they can go to the schools. So we have to improve literature and to improve books, because now all these problems we know, and we have to live with solidarity. And I think that literature that keep us like that, we are together, we are the same, and we are to share our knowledge and to be, because now I am sure in the future will be, there is no money and the young people, there is no money, so we have to live with solidarity, but using books and using literature to exchange our experience, to exchange our history of stories for every persons.
Amazing
So beautiful.
point. Yes.
Amazing. And what are the main line of literature you are lending or you are requesting of?
You are talking about for books?
Books, yes, sure. Like novels or...
Yes, they are. For example, when I I did like a survey in 1993 about 1999, not 1993, about what they want to read. They want to read, of course, novels, but also books for personal development. This is for young people, you know, because they discover themselves. They want to improve themselves, and they were asking for that. There is some region, it depends of region, they asked me for books of agriculture. So, but many children and many young, they want illustrated books, because but of course novels are important for them, and in many language, because when we give them books, it's in Arabic, French, and English also. Because in middle school, high school, they are doing English. And the books, novels are good. And what is important, for example, if you do a workshop, if you do an event, if you bring a writer, and of course, you know, it depends on the writer. There is a writer who he could work with young people, but the others no. If you, for example, you give them novels for this, and you could read it before, and you bring the writer, many times, for example, they were really interested. And also when the writer is very famous, for example, many years ago, until I think 2007 something, there's a writer from here, from the rural, he's a Berber, he's a writer, he's writing in French, but also he's a teacher, he's teaching French. And he was talking to the children, he told them that, you know, I was not a good student in schools. I didn't like it. I did, but of course, after I had to choose how to survive. I did like I became teacher, and now I am writer, and really very famous writer. The children, young people. Oh my God, you weren't good in the schools, and you are famous. So to explain them that he explained that he was loving books. And he was loving to discover the others, you know, other civilization and other traditions.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, I mean, yes, I had, when I was young, I had the same idea, but just, you know, to purchase a used van, you know, a van, like a big car, put books in it, and just started to tour mountains, especially in my region. It's in the north. There are villages. Now it's different with internet, but in the 80s, 90, internet was not so, 80, no, 90 was not so diffused. So I said, you know, put books and go around, you know, with books. There is another very beautiful idea that was one person from Microsoft left Microsoft, do you remember? Leaving Microsoft to change the world. and he is touring Nepal with books. Nepal. So your idea is so amazing.
No, yes, I went, for example, for me, I went, sometimes we drove with a bus with 12 hours to reach a village. And of course, I am only interested in villages and the desert, high Atlas, because the need is there. Of course, the need is here also. I'm talking about Marrakesh. Here I am working with the most difficult area in Marrakesh, because it became very expensive, this city, because I don't know why. And people, they don't have, many people, they are not rich, they don't have a big salary. So for me, I did the books we took with us, because of course, when you go to the internet, you can see there is a lot of caravan to live in Africa. But for us, was what is different, it's not only books, because when I was bookseller, I understood you can have books in the shelves, but you have to animate these books. They have to speak to you. So you have to bring somebody to do something with that. This is very important and very successful. If you have only, you can't imagine this library. There's a lot of libraries here. And we will open libraries with books. No. It's not enough. You have to animate, because it's only, you can only a carpet on the floor, and people can stay without any chair, and we can have somebody who can read and we share. So for me, the book caravan was like the cultural space. There are debates. We are choosing themes and people, Moroccan or not Moroccan, Berber or not Berber, and we are all, it's amazing. We are using really developed tools to work and to give. The important thing, to give those young people and those children people the possibility to manage, to express themselves. We are with you now, and you have to tell us. It's not me, I'm coming from a city, or you are coming from Italy or from, I don't know, England. We are telling them, we are learning from you also. And this is the reality and this truth. When you go, you learn. And the exchange, you have to be like really modest with them, and to have to understand how they are thinking. This is very important.
Yes, sharing is, in my opinion, the most powerful strategy for sustainability, for improving technology and the knowledge in a broader sense. Then, yesterday there was a lesson even about this project with an Italian writer, Marco Ongaro, who is also a teacher of creative writing. And it said an important thing, that when he teaches writing, writing, it is not enough to push people into writing with some intentions. Intentions is not important. They will emerge in a second time. Also content will emerge in a second time. The most important thing is to write. So write, because it is important, not for a profession, not for a business, money. Money is not the question. It's for the self. And it is what we must do with also our project. We should to spread mentorships, to spread lessons with a great personality like you, that make people dream, because dreaming and it's a thing that is not anymore into account, because we are technicians, we are on a project, we are on a goal to reach. Well, dream is all the time something we don't know how it will go the street, you know. So this is very important. Write for you, not for business or something concrete. Then you know, I remember when I was young that our teachers said us to write letters, because I'm not so young. So in my past, I used to write letters, and we were pushing into writing with this simple thing. So write about ourselves, our histories, our values, and we sent these letters to other children around the world. And this was a homework, but I remember where we still went on with these practices also during the summer, beyond the homework, because it was useful for us to share and to read, to listen to the others. So it was very important, and it is amazing in my opinion, of course.
Yeah, we have to give the children, the young people, more times in schools, if it is possible, for writing, for reading. The problem now is, for example, in Morocco, there are a lot of homework, and they couldn't do any reading, but it's for me, it's a fault, because those people are lost after, and you are losing yourself if you couldn't read like poetry, read literature or philosophy or something. It's you have to understand what happened in the world and what happened in you, inside of you. But sometimes you don't have time, or you don't have time to think what happened inside in there.
The situation is the same here, the same here, because we don't have time to discover our passions. We only have to do with the deadlines from the childhood to the adulthood, and we don't have time for reading poetries, for discovering our tastes, also our
Yeah, also poetry is disappearing, because poetry means that you have to have time to let's say cut out some space in yourself. You cannot read poetry, you know, just, you know, while you are writing a project or doing kitchen. Maybe kitchen, yes, but not while. So poetry is really a domain for the soul. And but maybe poetry now it's channeled with songs like rap, you know, rap music, different, you know. But and how is your connection with schools? Teachers are interested in your mission?
Well, it depends. You know, for example, there is a lot of, when I started to do this work, there is a lot of demand of people. I don't go like this. They asked me to come to see them, and it depends. For example, we go to a school. Not all the teachers are interested, but we have always some. For example, in 2008, I went in a village, Oasis, and I worked with teachers and dinner schools, and we were like 25 persons coming from the other countries, but also Marrakesh. And I found two teachers. They were young, and they worked with me, and we could give to the book caravan like a success. Those young, for example, those young, they are not so young anymore now. They are with me now in the association, and they are with me because the book caravan is the propriété intellectuelle, but we have association with our other project. They are still now with me, and it's not the others. They are teachers. They're still teaching. And now I have another one. She's teaching English. The same thing. When I discover them, there are only one or two who stay with us and who went with us to the villages. So for me, it's enough. I have only every year, if I have 1-2 teachers, and he can follow what also they are doing the same thing in their schools, on their villages. That is very important. And for me, it's important that those people, they could follow, they do the same thing or something like this to do it. And with the young people, we don't have any, they are very, always very happy, recognizing. When I started in 1994, 1995 to go to schools, I remember that this children and the young people, they came and they told me, oh, madam, we know we don't earn money with that, but we are very happy because you come to see us, and that is why they are recognizing my work. That is why I followed. I worked without any fundraising. It was only my salary, and sometimes there is people, they come from they pay in their travel and they come, or some they support me, but a lot of the time. But for me, I was happy because it's something I love. I want to share. I want to give them, because for me, the book is and the world is a power. If you could have knowledge, is the power, and this the reality. You could have money, but if you don't have any knowledge, you don't have any power. And I want them to learn that this is more important than other things. Of course, money is important, also the others important, but the knowledge, because for me, I am from a modest family. My family still now, they don't travel and they couldn't, and this. And with my work, I could travel, I could do that, but because I could talk about my experience, I could do that something. I initiate this project, and I am loving it, and it's like I told you, it's like a baby for me. It's something I want to see to grow with the others. And if I can share my experience and do it with other partnership in any places, in Italy, I don't know, in France, I want to do it because I want to spread this experience and to give it like give them like a weight and talk about. And I hope I can do more than I am doing now. And I will be 60 years old next year, you know. But I want to follow my
but
work.
you are absolutely young. You are
yes, of course.
Yeah.
No, of course
your beloved book or books.
What?
Some books you're beloved, you know. Les livres qui ont changé votre vie.
Ma vie. Alors, you know, there is a lot of books. For example, there is like a novel, like we started by books like a feminist book, like Simone de Beauvoir, for example. And some books, of course, so for Fatima al-Mernissi, the sociologist.
La Marguerite Duras.
Marguerite Duras, of course.
Ursenar, la
Yes,
dame.
yes, all these books. You know, I was like a bulldozer to read books. I didn't. For me, when on holidays also I didn't have anything, only to stay at home. And so reading for me, I want to read every day a book or two books. So I finish it when I was young. Of course, now we are reading, but less than. But there is a lot of books also. You know, these books of Mille et Nuits. Mille et Nuits, it's a dreaming books. It's a Mille et Nuits, a night, thousands of.
Oh, La Mille e una Notte.
Yes. This one I was reading. A lot of like.
Sì.
Le Rouge et le Noir. In French. Of course, I have only these books in French. I could read because after also in Arabic there is a lot of books, and books in general changed my life and urged my life to something. For example, when I was 12 years old, I thought I will do something with books. I didn't know what is, but I will do perhaps a writer, perhaps I didn't know what. But I decided I want to do something with books, and I want to books. It was like hidden in my country. I want to show them. I think there is a lot of stories in my life that I want to show books and to tell that books they are, for example, some people they don't hear. There is with many years ago there is like censorship, and for me I told no, why we have to hide books? We have to show them. And it was when I was really young and was child. For me, this is because when I was child, for example, I never want to go to sea, because we have some not families but people, they came from our village. My father and my mother came from a village in the east of Morocco, and they don't understand why. I told them because they don't have books. But for me, I was like boring me if I don't go. What I have to do? My mother talked to the other woman, and I have to stay. No, I have to read books. So it's important because books changed my life. Hopefully in a good way. I could do many things in social, experience, working with the women, working with the others. It's given me a lot of freedom to think, a lot of, I was like, for example, when I was young, I was really tolerant to the other religion, tolerant to others, more than the other European friends I have. I was like, it's important for me that give you the possibility to know, and that is why I am always encouraging people that knowledge is important. They give us the possibility because we have the same in the world. And we have to exchange, we have to accept our differences. And this is like books that changed my life a lot. I could be other person without books. But it also give me the possibility to be outside of, also to be in a conservative family. I will be always like dreaming. I am not here. I am somewhere. So it was...
Yes, I understand you. I think that all, especially girls, but also males.
Yes, of course.
When they are young, a book is also a way, as you said, to hide themselves, to create a room, a space around you, like a bubble, protecting you from outside, because you are there with the books and people look at you and say, because there is a general, still today, respect for books. So you see a kid's reading and it's some kind of sacred image, sacré.
But the reality, like you say, for spaces, that is one thing. I think here in Morocco and many places, that people, they don't have spaces.
Yes,
for example, I didn't have any room till 30 years. 30 years old. We were sharing a room with my sisters. We are 6, and my aunt. And but for me, I was looking for my space in our house. I go to the terrace. I go always in a place when it's empty.
Yes.
But also because I have also this attitude now. I woke up at 5 a.m. I woke up very early, and because I want to read. And there is many people you could be also in Italy with the immigrant. Now it changed, but still that in a rural area that people, they don't have their own room. I never have my own room till 30 years old. I didn't have, because I couldn't afford myself to have this my room. Now I have my room, of course. I used to my apartment, but this space is very important to have the intimity to read well. And those people, they don't have that, and that's all grow the impossibility to read if you don't have any space, because you need a space for you. And for me, I looked all the time. I am like writing like an article, but just about my life, just to read in that how I was looking for a empty space to read. when it's hot, when it's so. I was in the terrace, I was here in a room really dark, and I want to read because it's empty. It was empty.
Yeah, I understand you. I understand you.
Of course.
Yeah.
So there is another question, of course. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted only to ask you a question, an anthropologic question, because you know I'm a philosopher, and during my path I took several courses, and I remember courses about cultural relativism and how each people produced different narrative methods according to their needs. And I remember Tuareg poetry. I remember how it was incredible, and I remember also how much the women are have a different role in Morocco, because the woman is at center, guardian of tradition in Tuareg culture, and also it plays a fundamental role in religion, which is different because it is mixed with the Sufism, with mysticism. It's very different. It's very interesting. And I know that how much is different the production of narratives in Tuareg, because Tuareg are nomads and they can't produce heavy works like statues. So they needed to produce wearable art, which is poetry. And in particular, I wanted to ask you how much, in your opinion, the environment conditions changes how people read the word and write the word. So an anthropological question.
Well, you know, I understand a lot of nomad in the desert work or not work. For example, in the south of Morocco, there is what this people are living in a tent and nomad. They have a style because there is nothing, and in the evening they are together, and they are telling stories, but also poetry, and there is discussion that you can find their language is very strong because every day they are talking. There is no things. I think first that literature contributes to developing the word, developing the person, but also developing the aesthetic sense of things, you know. And like I said in the beginning, also developing critical spirit. And the environment is influencing. If you are in the, you can see with stars, and you have a lot of poets in the Arabic, you know, region many years ago. They are all thinking only for the desert. I have sand in my hand. Of course, the environment is influencing you because you have this. You can camels. You have this the weather. It's so important, but also literature is influencing people in the same times to develop them, to give them a sense of aesthetic. You can discover more and more things, you know, about philosophy, about, you know, this is very, very important. And the nomad, very known in Arabic region and also here, that they are really poets because they are coming from this environment, and they are seeing, you know, if you have this experience to come in Morocco, you can come and you are sleeping under the stars, and they will give you something. It's quiet. They give you, this is only one piece of that. They give you the possibility to poetry and to be like, there is no machine, cafe machine, excuse me, just one. No cafe machine, no things, but you have to tell. You have, this is why I told myself, if you have workshop or residence of author, for example, you have time to do only that, to write or to produce literature, to be so far from all the civilization, if you want.
That's incredible. Thank you very much for your time, for your questions, for your...
It was really a pleasure, and really I want to continue with you, and if there is any question, anything I can help, I can do it with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will download, you know, the presentation and a profile of you. We will send you a text. And
of course.
Also your lecture will be downloaded in English and then in Italian. So also, and if we could work and cooperate in the future, it would be beautiful. We will send you
thank you very much.
An idea about an app, a software, a free software, very easy to be used for kids, where kids could create a story by this software. So they could take a book and imagine to create a video story, like a cartoon. So in the same time, they will learn the book, the story, how to tell a story, and how to program.
Very interesting. I want to learn also. It's not only children.
It's very easy. We will have lessons about this software that is free. It's called Scratch, and it would be good. So kids could have a book, imagine how to change the end of the book. You know, sometimes I didn't like how the end of the book ended, you know.
Yes, of course.
Especially when the ending is sad, etc.
Yeah, sure.
So they can have this book, you know, reflect on the story, and then no, I want to change. So they will prepare with coding, you know, with this software, very easy to use, to be used, another end. So we will get all this story from you, and we will put on our school robotics in English, and then from your kids, you know.
Of course.
So,
Well, thank you very much. I'm so happy to meet you, even though it's in Zoom. We hope we can meet in Italy, in Marrakesh. Welcome, and we continue our
cooperation.
Exchange. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.